Hello everyone! Welcome back to this game! When we last left off, see what I did there? We were traveling around the city, performing a whole bunch of tasks on this Wednesday, trying to get through this day, because I lost track of how long we've actually been in Wednesday at this point, I will admit. Well, we're definitely going to go ahead and finish Wednesday now, and well, the first thing I'm going to do before I move on is use the sleep pills, because I'm pretty sure I am at a point where I'm about to exhaust myself into the hospital. And obviously, I do not want that. More importantly, we're going to do something that I am surprised I haven't actually tried already. At this time, the downtown clothing store is closed, therefore, Shelley should be home. At this point, I have not actually met, Hugue. And at this point, I'm aware that in order to get up to meet Chip, we don't actually need to see... I'm just going to call him Hugue. We don't actually need to meet Hugue in the nightclub and buy him a drink. All we have to do is become acquainted by asking if he owns the shop, and then ask about the boy in the photo. He will happily tell us since we are acquaintances. And it occurs to me that I have not actually shown you this conversation yet, so have another previously recorded clip. Let me see if I can ask that. I found this photo in Dex Beagler's desk. Do you know the boy in it? Let me see. Ah, yes, I do believe that is young Master Chip. He lives in an apartment upstairs with his mother. I don't know if she is home at the moment. Poor woman works very long shifts. But do feel free to head up and give their door a knock anytime you like. Ah, okay. So, I don't have to buy him a drink at the place. And this part is repeated dialogue, I think from the place I just mentioned. From here, we can go ahead and head upstairs, and finally have a conversation with Shelley. On that note, I have already recorded a conversation with Shelley. It is another thing that I did before I discovered how to get into the space station. Obviously, I could not fit that discussion in the same episode as the space station. We were there a while. So, here is what I recorded. Knock knock. Yes? Can I help you? Sergeant Squidley, Metropolis PD. Can I come in? Sure, I guess. And we have finally made Shelley an acquaintance. We can also date her? Okay. You're in Shelley's apartment. It is a tiny one-room bedsit with a fold-out sofa which Shelley and Chip are currently sitting on. How can I help you, officer? Did you know Dex Beagler? I guess there's no point in hiding it. You're going to find out sooner or later. Yes, Dex and I had a bit of a thing 10 years ago. I didn't know he was married. I didn't even know his name was Dex Beagler. I knew him as Stan. He was undercover in my mother's criminal organization at the time. Well, now we have absolute confirmation that yes, there was a criminal organization, and it wasn't just a cover-up for an affair. It's terrible what happened to him. He was a good guy, really. I'm not going to ask if she killed him. I don't think that's the case. I'm sorry for your loss. Very sorry. Thank you. I appreciate it. Ooh, we're making progress again. Your son looks familiar. You know, Chip looks kind of familiar. You can see Dex in him, right? He was his father, though I tried to keep it secret from him. I didn't even know Dex's real name when we were together. He was going by Stan, etc. I didn't even tell him about Chip until a couple of weeks ago. I thought maybe he could help us. Help us to get out of this town. Start a new life. Away from my mother and her cronies. We met up a few times after that. He said he was having troubles of his own, but he'd find a way. He had some kind of job lined up to get us the money we needed, and then he was killed. That's what the 5,000 currency in the bank is for. I have wrote down in my notes, was Dex saving his money for anything specific? The game hinted at the possibility. Now we know. So I guess we're going to be stuck here for a while longer. I wish we could help. Big Momma Zod's daughter? Right? Yes, I am. But it's something I'd rather forget. The city is a cesspit of crime and violence, and my mother is the source of most of it. I was practically brought up inside her operation. I thought that life was normal. But when I got pregnant with Chip, I started to have my doubts. What future could I give him? Did I really want him being the heir to a criminal empire? So I ran. I cut off all contact with my mom, took what money I had, and moved into my own place. It's still painfully close to my family, but it's all I could afford. What I really wanted is to leave this town behind. Make a new life for me and Chip, somewhere far away. I contacted Dex, seeing as he's Chip's dad, thinking he might want to help us out financially. Met with him a few times. He was really nice, said he had money problems of his own. But he said he had a plan to get us the cash. He had something in the works he couldn't talk about. It's kind of interesting how some of these details wind up repeating in certain options, although worded it a little bit different. I mean, it makes sense that would happen, in a way. The game doesn't necessarily know which option we're going to be choosing first. But it would be nice if the game was kind of aware that we've already heard certain details, and gave us the gist of it, a little reminder rather than the whole discussion. Anyway, and then suddenly he turns up dead, and we don't see a single cent. Talk about a crushed dream. I hope there's some way to help with that. Well, maybe we can talk to Chip now. Hello there. I'm a friend of your mother's. You know? He's telling the truth, honey. Oh. Okay, then. Aw, that little smile. Well, he doesn't know about the father. What do you want to be as an adult? When you grow up? I was kind of thinking I'd like to be a cop. Aw, like your old pal Squidley? No, like someone else. Well, might as well ask this question just to see if there's a different reaction. Don't really remember him. My mom says he was a hero cop, but I don't know if that's true. Yeah, he kind of was. Alright, I was kind of curious. At this point, the pawn shop is going to be closed, but I was thinking maybe we'd be able to knock on the door to talk to him. At this point, it's pretty late. I don't think we'd be able to break down and him not be there. Yeah, he'd be waiting inside yelling at us. No, actually, he's downstairs. Alright, well, since I'm gonna be reloading the save anyway, I just started getting hungry, so strength got lowered, but still. So, old Haju thinks he can keep secrets from me, does he? I'll have this door open in no time. Just a bit of wind-up, and... crash! Open sesame! This won't end well. Nice place you got here. Alright, I don't know how long I'll have to be able to do this. It's 15 minutes until 22 o'clock. Alright, this might be Huju's apartment. Or it could be the city dump. The tiny space is filled to the brim with piles of rubbish. Look under the bed. There's some old papers under here, and... oh. This looks like it might be valuable. It's an old issue of the Marsman comic. It's dated about 16 years ago. The franchise is that old? Search the wardrobe. Ugh. It's just a pile of old, damp cardigans. There are mushrooms growing on some of them. Ugh. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Check the boxes. This box is full of old jars of spaghetti sauce, and some of them are leaking. I do like spaghetti sauce. Alright. We'll end this visit with a trip to the hospital. Or maybe that's actually helpful. Well, here's Mona again. Hiju isn't here. I'll let myself out. Alright, so he probably did disappear. Oh, he's probably going into the underworld. Well, I tell you what, we definitely don't need to be buying him a drink now. But let's go ahead and head down there. And talk to him. And Hiju is here. I'll finally talk to you again. Can I buy you a drink? We'll see if this gets anything new. Originally, this would result in him telling us about Dex Beagler and a kid up in his apartment building. Interesting that the kid doesn't necessarily know Dex, considering, according to Hiju, Dex did go up there to visit the mother. Maybe because the kid was asleep at that time? Don't know. Dex Beagler was killed just outside this club recently. Do you know anything about it? I wonder why they had to close it off. Can't say I've heard of this Beagler fellow. Right after telling us about the Beagler fellow? I guess that alcohol wore off in a hurry. And now we are caught up to present time. By now you're probably wondering what the deal is with all these clips in the past couple of episodes. Well, what happened is, I initially planned a route on Wednesday that did not include withdrawing the 5,000 currency from Beagler's account. Therefore, I was still wearing the lab outfit, which means I could take a route that started with the research lab. However, I eventually reached the discussion with Shelley and learned what the 5,000 currency is for. So it's like, okay, I guess I do want to grab that 5,000 currency. And of course, that is the point that I found out how to get into the space station. But because I needed to grab the 5,000 currency, that meant I needed to plan an entirely different route that involves going back to Squidley's apartment to change back into the lab outfit. So instead of showing you the initial route I took, I instead mostly scrapped the initial recording and just showed you the money route, while also including clips from the first route I tried for the sake of still showing my first time reactions. Anyway, let's go ahead and try this again, because this time I have the 5,000 currency. I spent a whole bunch of it on Kleebor the Third, Clorbax the Third, whatever his name was. But that is why I went busking, to recover the money and get back up to 5,000 currency. Now it is this option right here that I want to save for last. First, I'm going to go through the question of Big Momma Zod's daughter. And then we go to Your Son Looks Familiar, where we get told about Dex wanting to get the money to help them out. He had some kind of job lined up to get us the money we needed, and then he was killed. So I guess we're going to be stuck here for a while longer. That money in Dex's account, could that have been meant for Shelley and Chip? If I didn't have the money, Squidley would comment that maybe he shouldn't have spent it. But we have the money, and I have been waiting days to finally choose this option. Maybe this money would help. I found it in Dex Beagler's secret bank account. What? Seriously? You're giving me this? Squidley, I don't know how to thank you. This is more than enough. You've saved my life. Chip's life. We'll need a few days to get things organized, but if there's anything you need... Not that I have much to give, but... Thank you. Hey, another person who has become our confidant. No other questions to ask. I don't know that it's important to become acquainted with Chip, but we'll go ahead and just do that real quick. And search the drawers to get the VIP card. For the time being, I'm probably going to go ahead and ignore Huju's apartment. I know that Milton would probably enjoy the comic that's in there, but I can get Milton's friendship without the comic. Besides that, I don't want to ruin the trust that Huju has in me. I might need that trust in the future. Okay, it's getting pretty late. The chief goes to Luigi's at 21 o'clock, and now here we are going there well after 23 o'clock. However, the chief is still here. So we'll go ahead and tell him that we know he fixed his qualifications. Just talk to me about it somewhere more private. I have no idea where that is. Just in case, we'll go ahead and also examine the photos on the wall, so that we know Dex Beagler ate here along with other folks. Might be useful information considering this place is apparently where the Scourge of the City visit. Then it's back to the ganglands, going to the underworld entrance. Talk to Bouncer Brick. I kind of wonder if I'm able to go in even though I'm not dressed appropriately. Let's find out. Can I go inside? Get lost. No nerds allowed. But I said get lost. But that answers that. The first day, yeah, we definitely have to be dressed appropriately so we become acquaintances. After that, if we're not dressed appropriately, we want to talk to him and ask him about himself. This is not where I wanted to go. Oh, it occurs to me, I have the option of going directly to Shelley's apartment now. So even though the pawn shop is technically closed at this time, I don't have to go through it anymore. Right? Yeah, we could just go straight to the apartment. Well, that's useful information. Probably have that option if we were to visit Chip whenever he was alone. As an aside, we didn't have to actually visit the Chip alone. We were able to get all the information about him, and more, by visiting the place while Shelley was there. How long have you worked here? He'll say 8 months. 8 years, rather. Then we have to talk to him again to find out the other question, regardless of which question we ask first. Now, the second time we ask, we don't get kicked back to the main menu. We could ask the other question if we want. Kind of weird, that. From there, let's go on in. I don't know if I necessarily needed to ask both questions. We only needed to ask one to become a friend, but who knows, maybe the information will be useful in the future. Alright, we're going to ignore Hiju. We're going to go to the VIP area. And once again, meet Big Momma Zod. And I'm gonna go ahead and do this a little differently than the first time we met her. I'm investigating a murder. Dex Beagler. Do you know anything about it? Me? What would I know about a murder? I'm just an innocent business owner. Detective Beagler himself spent many months undercover in my organization 10 years ago, as I'm sure you know. And even the greatest cop in town couldn't find any evidence to put me away. I must admit, we had some bad blood after he very publicly arrested me, but it's water under the bridge. Murdered, though? That's a genuine tragedy. The city is so dangerous these days. Which is why I am promising to clean up Moontropolis' crime scene in my mayoral election campaign. Bullcrap! Mayor Formaggio is a fine politician, but over the years I feel he has become complacent. It's time for a change, and I think I'm the woman to bring it. Can I count on your vote? I'll think about it. Playing cards close to your chest. And this is where we learn about the photo again. In the hands of Pippi Free. No promises whether I'll be able to find that. Despite that initial question, we were still able to become acquaintances with Big Momma Zod. Tell me about you and Dex Beagler. I believe there's history. Oh, there's history, all right. That crooked copy nearly ruined my good reputation. Back about 10 years ago, this new guy, Stanley Stutters, started hanging around the club. Stanley Stutters? Not sure I know who that is. Stanley really makes himself at home. Oh, that was Beagler's fake identity. His undercover identity. Stanley really makes himself at home, makes friends with all the regulars, starts helping out where he can. When I say this guy was like family, I mean it. I would have taken a blast from a laser pistol for him. Then one day, I'm here, minding my own business, and a bunch of cops come bust in. And guess who's leading them? None other than Stanley Stutters. Or, as it turns out, his real name is Sergeant Dex Beagler. Turns out he was some up-and-coming hotshot down at the department looking to make a name for himself. Apparently, there was some illegal activity going on at the club. Minor things being organized by patrons. A few robberies, some smuggling, a bit of space dust dealing. Stuff you'd find in any nightclub. But this Beagler sneak, he said I was the chief organizer of these activities, that my club was a front for organized crime, that I was some sort of kingpin of an entire crime syndicate. He slapped those handcuffs on me himself and got showered with praise. Money, fame, a promotion. Meanwhile, my good name and the name of my business were dragged through the mud. Of course, I had the last laugh. Beagler's case fell through just seconds into the trial. Turns out some of his evidence disappeared from police AQ, and his witnesses had a change of heart. A fortunate coincidence that worked very much in my favor. Of course, I would have liked to go to court and clear my name, but just avoiding jail was enough. But I learned a valuable lesson back then about trust and who to keep close. And while I feel for the family of the late Mr. Beagler, I am ashamed to say, part of me think he had it coming. I see. You are a criminal though, right? I mean, that's what you're famous for. That's what the media may say, but I challenge any one of them to prove any part of it. They're just intimidated to see a girl from the ganglands make it so big. Was there anything else? We have the option of mentioning Shelley. We'll come back to that. Let's go through this again. What, you want to hear about that again? And then she does tell us again. But we don't get to ask about the murder. Let's talk about the election. You're running against Mayor Formaggio, right? Formaggio's been in charge of this town for 12 years now. It's time for a change. He's been lining his pockets with money from his fat cat donors while leaving the ganglands to rot. I speak for the people of this neighborhood, and the time has come for out voices to be heard. Given how it turned out at the end of the first run, are you any different, though? Formaggio is stealing from the people through corruption, but you're just stealing from them more openly. Everyone knows about your crime syndicate. You're no angel. You've got guts, Squidley. Guts, but not brains. Any allegations against me are tabloid trash. No court has ever found me guilty of anything. I'm straight as an arrow, so unless you have any new evidence, shut your full mouth. Point taken. It's a load of crap is what it is. Polls show I'm behind. Me! Behind that corrupt slug. So what else do you want? Tell me about your daughter Shelley. That's family business, and I'm not ready to talk family business with you. Alright, thought maybe we would have the option to tell her about that earlier discussion in the donation. But we would probably have to become friends with Big Momma Zod before getting anywhere with that. Alright, let me think here. Do I even want to talk to her? Yeah, I probably do, because we get more information about that compromising photo of the mayor. And by that I mean, we get noted that Pippi Freeb has a pic of the mayor, which is sadly not information that is added whenever the mayor tells us about it. I'm still uncertain how to acquire that photo. Maybe after doing enough interviews, Pippi Freeb will become friends and allow us to go into her apartment? That is my only guess. So, all that talking, what do we learn? Big Momma Zod is a nightclub owner, and part of the interface up at the top is being covered with the menu notification to view met people. Anyway, nightclub owner, alleged crime boss, arrested by Beagler, grudge against Dex, daughter is Shelley, running an election, Mrs. Grandson. The grandson was not mentioned. Maybe that was added whenever we talked to Shelley. Part of me wonders whether we could try to have a friendly family reunion, but I'm not really sure on that. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about all those other options. We're just going to say investigating a murder, going to think about it, and we'll go ahead and look for the photo. From there, we're going to head to the dance floor and dance the night away to recover our stats. By the way, if we try playing along on the sax twice, we get banned from the nightclub entirely. So don't do that. From there, we are pretty much done here. And we are officially starting up Thursday. Huzzah! And oh boy, let me tell you, Thursday is going to be a pretty busy day.